The cattle industry is facing serious changes these days, ranging from country of origin labeling to the need for premises registration. These are both issues we're tackling in this week's Market Watch.
Market Watch, brought to you by Fort Dodge Animal Health.
Joining me today is Leanne Saunders, Executive Vice President of Quality Services from IMI Global. Welcome, Leanne.
Thank you so much, Susie. Pleasure to be here today.
Great to have you. First, would you tell us a little bit about IMI Global?
IMI Global is a verification company. So we assist individual producers and both beef and pork meat companies and their suppliers meet the value-added program requirements today for verification of production practice claim and marketing claim information. So things like you'll hear in the industry source and age verification, the non-hormone treated cattle program for Europe. We help producers meet those particular requirements.
Okay. Many in the industry are concerned about country of origin labeling and how it's going to affect them. What will COOL compliance look like for the cow-calf producer?
As things have evolved, I think it's really important that we take a step back because it's such a confusing and divisive topic in the industry that we take a step back and say, okay, exactly what do we have to do with COOL? And with COOL, all that we're doing is we're declaring the country of origin on a specific commodity.
Okay.
So if you're a cow-calf producer and you're looking at this program today and say, okay, what do I need to do to make that declaration of origin? You first need to know the basics. We're cattle born and raised in the U.S.
Okay.
We're cattle born and raised in Mexico. We're cattle born and raised in Canada. Once you have that information, you have to have auditable records that actually back up how you know those things. So we're asked all the time, what are auditable records? How do we do that? If you're a producer that keeps good records today, so you have maybe calving records, maybe you have good inventory records, animal health records, sales receipts, livestock marketing contracts, all of those can be used as records to support that cattle were born and raised on your operation. Now, some key things to think about if you're a livestock producer. If you purchase cattle that potentially might be from Canadian birth origin or Mexican origin, you need to make sure that you keep that information and that you provide that information upwards in the supply chain. But it's very important that you keep it basic and then we don't make it more complicated than it is. Today, the industry is kind of coalescing around some standard affidavit language that we can use and declaration language that'll make it consistent. Now, if you're a producer that is engaged in a value-added program today, so a source and age program where you're marketing cattle already, if you're in one of those process verified programs already today, you meet and exceed the requirements for COOL compliance.
Okay.
So you just need to continue doing what you're doing. If you're not engaged in any of those programs, then what we're encouraging folks to do, and the industry is encouraging you to do, is contact your seller who sells the cattle for you typically, or the buyers of those cattle, and make sure that you're both on the same page about what they need to see as far as documentation and records that you need to keep before cattle leave your operation.
Okay. Real quickly, how are premises registration and COOL linked?
Very good question, because that gets confused all the time. They are completely separate programs, and that's really important because the USDA was actually prohibited from putting in place a national animal identification program for the purposes of COOL. So they're two completely separate programs.
Okay.
Now, having said that, if you're a producer that has gone to the effort of registering a premise and you have animals that are enrolled in a program that is compliant with NAIS, you haven't done that for naught. What the USDA has said is that information can be used for origin purposes, but they're completely separate. NAIS is a voluntary program. You're not required to register a premise for this. And COOL is a program that we have to participate in. So they're completely separate.
Okay, terrific. Leanne, thank you so much for your time and your information today. Fabulous.
Thank you so much.
For more information on IMI Global, visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org.